According to government sources in various reports, the South African government is looking to hike VAT in the country by 1% to help sustain the provision of the R350 social relief of distress grants. The South African government implemented the SRD grant as a measure to alleviate the repercussions of job cuts resulting from the global COVID-19 pandemic and the government-imposed lockdowns. Around 7.5 million people receive the R350 SRD grant each month. But more than 13 million people applied for the grant in January of this year alone, mostly from KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, and Limpopo. The grant was subsequently stopped by the Department of Social Development at the end of April 2021, but later reinstated after the civil unrest that swept through Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal last July and is now expected to be extended until the end of March in 2024. According to reports, a proposal presentation for changes was tabled which included a 1% increase in VAT to unlock 24.5 billion rand or 2% VAT increase, which would net the state 49.4 billion rand, which will fund the SRD grant until March of 2024 or even further. VAT is an indirect tax which affects consumers of specific items, regardless of their income position, and with many South Africans already grappling with the current cost of living, an increase on VAT could put more pressure on already struggling households. According to Dominic Brown, economist at Alternative Information and Development Center, to change the status quo, government needs an overhaul of economic policy that will see resources being invested in reindustrializing the country, thus creating employment for more than 7.9 million people.
Ultimately, it would require an overhaul of economic policy and a rethinking of the basis for economic policy. And here it would ultimately require large levels of resources being directed to a kind of reindustrialization program that's labor intensive, and so thereby would be able to absorb large levels of unemployed people into the workforce.